I got that tractor beam out of commission, or this is going to be a real short trip. Okay, hit
it! Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I feel like it's been a while since we sat down and talked art prints, so I'm kind of excited about that. I know we had a lot of Star Wars news at the last one, and I did not expect any additional licensed Star Wars art prints to be announced between that show and now, but Acme came through yesterday and made some more announcements, so we do have some Star Wars stuff to talk about, thankfully.
Well, we can talk about other stuff too. It's fine.
Whether you like it or not, I've thrown in some other stuff.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
But let me go.
Do you not think we're gonna? I guess. Is at this point, would we have already seen something from Bottleneck or Mondo like previewed, or do you think we still might see something?
It's literally
possible.
2 days away. I feel like if they were doing something like New York City's virtual Comic-Con that they did,
yeah,
they would have given ample notice because they were teasing stuff. I mean, I could have missed things because I don't know if anyone's noticed. If my group participation has anything to go by, I've been pretty busy. So some stuff has it wouldn't surprise me if something went under my radar, but I think that more people would be talking about it if they'd announced something like a virtual celebration. Also, I don't recall anything like that in the past, where maybe they've done something where they released prints during a Comic-Con, like San Diego, New York, like we said. But I don't recall anything around the time of Celebration, like anything where it's like a big run of stuff other than what we've already seen before, with those Kevin Wilsons, the Mark Englert, and I'm forgetting an artist, Pablo Oliveira, and then I feel like there's one more. But yeah, we had that kind of like small rash of Star Wars releases from them for May the 4th. I think if they had anything else going on, they would have said something. But
yeah, for sure.
I'll be sure to post things in the group if I see anything between now and Thursday. I'm flying in California on Friday, so if there's any time for me to miss some kind of late breaking news stuff, it would probably be Friday. Also, what's kind of exciting is the prints that went up on Dark Ink that were Celebration exclusives. I did read that I think they're going to have an allocation of 50 of each of those prints that they're holding specifically for the convention. So if you didn't or pre-order any of those, or if they sold out online, there's still a chance for you to get them in person if you're going to Celebration. But because there's 50 and it's a multiple day event, I can't imagine those are going to stick around long. And I do know at least one artist that said that they would be bringing some of their older work there. So it's not, I think, just everything that's we've seen released specific to Celebration. I think some artists are going to bring other stuff. Like I know, that was something I was going to do. I know Danny Haas is going to be there, so I was going to look into if they've got like an official artist vendor list. And kind of, so if I see something like that, because we're not going to have a print show between now and when we go to Celebration, I'll be sure to post that in the group too.
CZ, do you feel like you're just going to have like multiple tubes you're having to get back to your place, like when you finish Celebration? I mean, they have the whole artist alley thing, like, you know, who the hell knows? Every time there's Comic-Cons and all this stuff, it always seems like there's some awesome print somewhere that you didn't know about, right? So
I bought 2 like over the shoulder expandable tubes.
Okay.
Which is
you're already ready.
Yeah, because I'm also picking up art prints for other people. So
that's right.
I'm not a purist where, you know, if it's mine and I know it's going on the wall, and also I don't look to things to resell them. So if it's not, I have no problem manhandling my own prints, but if it's other people's, I'm like, oh shit, like that's not
yeah. Understand.
But yeah, and even I anticipated like if it's a smaller print, I can get a lot of cons, you can get those like top loading plastic sleeves. So there's
But
that.
see, even your prints, you don't want to f them up before they go on the wall. I mean, you gotta take care of
But I
them.
have moved out of state with a plethora, like maybe 50 of my art prints. So
Right.
I think I know how to at least put a bunch of prints in a suitcase and them arrive in one piece. I recently had like I hate when you're trying to sleep and all of a sudden you wake up like, where the fuck is that thing I haven't seen in a while? I had that with some of the prints that I took with me from Florida last time I was there, because I'm still finding shit that I left when I moved, and that are like in my mom's garage. And yeah, it took a bit of looking around, but I eventually did find them. But yeah, moving's stressful, yet alone when you have prints and tubes, prints and portfolios, prints that are framed and not on the walls yet. So yeah, it's been fun.
Understand. Cool.
So let me see if I could share screen.
Yes. There you go.
See it okay?
Yep.
Okay.
You're good.
So this one
This is
kind of
cool.
stuck up on me.
Did you buy this?
I did not, and that's because so we had this one, and then we had the Anne Bemby one, where he was like crouched on the gargoyle, which is a little more of a dynamic pose than I'm used to seeing.
Right.
So that felt interesting. That within like a few weeks of each other, we had two 89 Batman art prints go up on Bottleneck. And my tinfoil hat theory is because he's in the newest
Yeah, sure.
movie. So I think that's why stuff like this and the De Novo Cal have been coming out, as well as a few statues. Like Darkseid is working on some 89 statues, I think, that are third scale. But this was the regular timed edition, 24 by 36. So the reason why I didn't get this one or the previous one, the Envemi, of all of those two, I would have gotten this one, is because I'm obsessed with the one I have, which is by Matt Ryan too, and I featured it, I think, in one of my top 10 art prints of all time. It's a really like gothic looking one where he's looking at the bat signal, and it's like his reflection in the bat signal. I love that one. It's kind of like, I think it's on the list of, if there was ever a fire in my apartment, like which one would I try to grab out of here, even though it's not terribly limited. I think it's just, that one's just real hard to beat. It set the bar pretty high, but I do like this one. So this was the regular, and like I said, it was timed. So I don't know the edition size. I don't know if they've said what the edition size was.
This is cool. I like the gold, like the classic Batman gold, gold and black type of thing. It's really cool.
I like that it has just enough detail, but also it's pretty striking in that the concept of it is pretty simple as well. So this was the variant, which I think this kind of reaps nostalgia for the isn't this, I'm trying to think the differences.
I like
so
that
this
one
was like the promotional, this looks more like the promotional poster, I want to say, versus this one, which that typeface looks very similar to what they probably used in the actual movie. I think that's what this is. Honestly, it's been, typically when I watch Batman or like Batman Returns, it's when I'm doing other shit, so I've got it on in the background. So it's been a while, but this one was limited edition of 175.
Okay.
And then this one I thought was interesting because I had to like look it up and understand what it was. So it's the trading card variant. I think I just missed the boat on when trading cards like these were popular, but to me they kind of looked like Topps cards with this yellow border. And
I like it.
think, yeah, it's a look. And I think if you're nostalgic for the trading cards, I could totally understand wanting this. I should have done some research into this, but so this was available. All of these prints were available through Bottleneck and also Vice Press. I should have said. So if
At
you're
the same time?
Yep, at the same time. So as far as like edition sizes, because I've mentioned this before, it just means that Bottleneck had an allocation and Vice Press had an allocation.
Right.
So it's not like they had each of them had 125 of these. No, it was like worldwide. They only had 125 of these. And I think that it's the ones that were bought through Vice Press that they actually created or printed some trading cards. I might
Mm.
be making this up, but I think they had talked about it where they had printed up some of those small trading cards to include with the tube, which is
Mm.
kind of cool, as like a little freebie.
Yeah, but
Uh,
then you got this shitty poster that you bought, so that sucks.
it's just a different. So I like the yellow. What I don't like is the incorporation of the gold around the Batman. I think it should have
Yeah,
been
it's like
a
one
one
or
or
the other.
the other. Yeah, yeah. Or the same typeface that was used in the variant, the previous one with the
Mm.
white, maybe would have worked. Just change that to black, or no typeface at all.
Yeah.
I think I would have preferred that with the yellow border. Um, but I'm also not familiar with the trading cards, so it could have been something to be more faithful to the actual trading cards. Um, that's awesome. I don't feature Lord of the Rings prints a lot on the show,
It's
so I
pretty.
thought I would throw this one in there, especially because given the title of it is Fellowship of the Ring, um, I could pretty much guarantee that they're going to make more of these. So this one was a timed edition as well, 24 by 36 on a Somerset velvet paper, so kind of bougie paper.
Hmm.
Um, so I imagine they're going to do the whole trilogy. And then the variant, which I'm going to show you in a few seconds,
I
is
wonder if
interesting.
the velvet paper makes the darks, the blacks really like inky black, you know what I mean? Like I wonder if
Yeah,
it just kind of makes it deeper colors and stuff. It looks beautiful. It looks like a beautiful print.
yeah, I could assume so. And I mean, there's you're, in my opinion, even though I don't follow Lord of the Rings that much, I think you're kind of spoiled for choice when it comes to Lord of the Rings prints. But I
Yeah.
think this would be a great option, and I know a few people who jumped on this when it was available, and it was timed, which is always kind of appreciated, so you don't have to like freak out, hoping
Yeah.
that they don't sell out too quickly. Um,
And this is the normal one. It looks great.
Yep, this is the regular, and then this one was
It's
the
really good.
variant. So people had a
Hmm.
lot of difficulty discerning what made this the variant. It's the border, which has the map of Middle Earth. Is that right? Um,
Yeah,
and
there's too much going on there. That's
but
that's a lot.
presumably, once all three of them are done, I think that border is gonna like you're gonna see more of the map. So it might be cool once they're all together. But yeah, I see no issue if you
Yeah.
got the regular versus the variant. But
That's
this
just a
one was
lot. That's a lot to look at. I mean, the print's already got a lot going on, and then you add all the map stuff around it. No, no way.
yeah, I think it's it could certainly be busier. I think with Frodo being such a main focus of it, it kind of he kind of grounds the rest of it.
Yeah, it
But
helps.
you're
It
right,
helps.
that border is not doing it any favors as far as the busyness goes. Um, so I think you'd probably have to be real careful about how you frame this.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't put
yeah,
it in anything that's going to have texture to it because you already have a lot to look at. I think with this one, but
yep.
those two are by Jake Kanto, I'm assuming, which I thought was interesting because it kind of reminded me of the dude from Moon Knight. What's his name?
Hmm.
Then there's this one.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I
that's so
think
good.
you got the regular, and then Jason
I
got the
did.
variant, which I'll show in a second.
Because I also got that other. What's that other one? The
The Gabs.
Gabs. Yeah, I got that one. So
Now,
this
of the two, do you have a preference as to which one you prefer?
that's a tough one. I mean, I would say probably this one. I think Matt Ferguson does a great job with making your eye go to certain things. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? He really does a good job of like um, putting sets of things in here. You know what I'm talking about? Like the parallel lines and all the stuff he puts in that kind of draws your eye. He's
Mhm.
just really good designer and good artist. And I think Gabs is too. It's just a totally different thing. Like I like the one in Gabs seeing Zendaya a little bit more.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I they're both absolutely beautiful. So hopefully they both the same size, or are they
Yes, 24
they
by
are?
36. Yep. So, um, sucks if you only want one representation in your collection. But so this was another. I should have put this on the slide. This was another co-release with Vice Press,
Mhm.
and I think they both sold out pretty quickly. I
I
was
didn't
stuck.
know that.
I'm sorry.
No, I didn't know that. I just bought it through Bottleneck. So
Well, I think the assumption is that if you are not in the United States, it's going to be cheaper for you to go through Vice Press because they're based in the UK. So I think it was mostly UK buyers that were drawn to Vice Press. I don't know if they limited it where, say, if you had a US mailing address, they wouldn't let you order through Vice Press. I don't think they've ever done that. But basically, like I said before, Bottleneck had an allocation, and then so did Vice Press.
Yeah.
Also, no idea if the Vice Press ones are going to be signed. I don't think so because I think they would have said. But yeah, I was stuck in a meeting and I missed out on this. But um, I do like the regular. If I'm quite honest, I think I like the Gabs one even more. But it doesn't mean I don't want this. So it's on the list to eventually add to the collection. But thankfully, when it comes to art prints, I don't mind paying aftermarket prices for something like this, so long as I
Yeah.
appreciate it. And then this one is the variant, which is going to be on a foil paper, which will be,
It's nice.
yeah. I mean, I think I like the contrast of the other one, but I also have this thing in the back of my head where people talk so much shit about straight movie posters, not alternative movie posters, but any movie poster that uses a orange and blue color scheme because it's been done so many times. So I think with the regular and then also the Gabs regular, it's funny how both of them ended up with kind of the same color
Sure.
stories, where it was the orange and blue, and then the variants even. The Gabs variant was that spice variant, not the Arrakis one, but the
Yeah.
spice one was like a gold tone, kind of
But
gold tone sepia, and then this one's very
yeah,
similar.
the same. Isn't
On
it
the foil
hard though? Isn't it hard though to make a Dune print and not make it blue
look similar to
and
another.
orange?
I mean, I could
Like,
understand the concept maybe being similar, but the color story,
yeah, but how do you make it? How do you make a Dune print and not have the dunes look like dunes and the sky look like sky? Like,
well, I think
that's the
the
tough part.
incorporating the blue because of like what Spice does to the characters and turns their eyes blue, I totally understand. But I don't recall a lot of orange in the cinematography of the movie. So I don't know if you could have done like a more realistic.
Like a goldish, more of a goldish color or
Maybe.
something. I don't know.
But also, I do question. We've talked about this before. Um, if it's a situation where the studio has a lot of say
Mhm.
in how things go, I don't think they would be so restrictive to say, "Oh, here's your color palette." But we certainly know that they've had issues with certain concepts or logos and like copyright issues and that kind of weird stuff. I don't logos and copyright issues wouldn't be an issue with this one, but we have seen artists come out with, "Oh, I just remembered I didn't feature." One of the new Star Wars art prints, but I think we actually saw it on Group Therapy, the Thomas Kincaid one I didn't like. So stuff like that
Yeah.
where
See,
the
I
studio is asking for like similar subject matter, but from different artists. So
yeah,
they have a lot of
right.
leeway.
I'm kind of surprised Matt Ferguson didn't do color with this, like the flames of the palm trees.
Oh, or like a grayscale pop of color.
Like it
Like,
seems like that's it seems like that's what he does, a lot of times, and it works well, and people like it. So I'm kind of surprised we didn't see that.
yeah.
But it still looks good. I'm a sucker for color. I can't,
hmm
I can't see color, and then usually I can't. The only one I did that with was I really thought that Luke, black and white Luke was really nice.
Yep.
The recent one that came out.
The Kevin Wilson.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. That one a lot, and so that's the one I went with, black and white. But otherwise, I just can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, either way, either of these, just like the Gabs, would look fantastic with that Prime 1 statue.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting to see.
Yeah, but I don't know how I'm gonna fit it. Like, it would be nice if these were smaller to where I could actually fit it, because I am getting the Prime 1 Dune,
Yeah.
Paul Atreides statue, and I'm pumped for it. But like, where the hell am I gonna? I mean, it would be cool, but there's no way I can do that. I don't think.
I have more faith in Jason maybe being able to manage
Yeah, he could.
playing both because he's building like theater room and stuff like that.
Yeah, he might be able to.
But that's like I can only have so much bandwidth. So for me, it's how I make my art prints look decent, not how I make my art prints look amazing with the props that go with the consecutive art prints or
Yeah,
the
that's true.
statues. That I have no patience for. So this one released. Oh, was it yesterday or today? Shit. I think it was
It's pretty
today.
recent, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was today. So this is one Ramos Weapon X, decent size, 24 by 18, and this was a limited edition of 150, and this was the only edition, so they didn't have any variants. And I thought this was kind of cool. So the last Weapon X um, print I remember that came out was during NYCC, the Bottleneck Virtual Con, and it was Mark Englert. And I know a few people ended up jumping on that because it was printed on black paper. This one's a giclée. Sorry, I almost said giclée. Giclée. So I don't think it's going to be printed on black paper. I think it's going to be.
See, this is what I don't understand, CC. I don't get it. You have Star Wars Celebration happening this week with Obi-Wan Kenobi coming out, and you put out a Weapon X poster. Like I don't understand that. I can't comprehend it because I get it. Look, I understand people want their Marvel shit and their Batman shit and all that stuff. Like that's fine. No problem with it. But like do it, figure out how to do it at the right time. Like use what you have around happening to benefit what you're putting out. Like I don't get it.
Well, and to be fair, like I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt where everyone answers to someone. We saw Dark Ink, which is essentially it's the same. It's Acme Archives. It's just under a different veil, which is really odd. But Dark Ink, Acme Archives, they've come out with. We'll see more of them.
Sure.
A lot of licensed Star Wars prints. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's kind of like a pie chart where they decided that this year Acme is going to be the ones handling. Well, I think Acme's always handled the. They're what I would, without any inside baseball information on how licensing works, I would say that they're the premier licensee of Star Wars art prints, not Bottleneck. So I think I'm thinking of it as like a pie chart kind of situation where Bottleneck's slice of the pie on what they could release within proximity to Star Wars Celebration was what we already saw with the Kevin Wilson, with the Pablo Oliveira, and Mark Englert. Whereas Dark Ink, Acme got the biggest chunk of that pie when it came to what was going to be printed and released for Celebration. Also, timing situation. So
you could be right, but
like me picking up the Celebration,
sure,
at the convention, that means they're already printed and done with. Where
no, I get it. I get that stuff. I'm just thinking like, okay, Bottleneck chooses May the 4th to do some releases. Why do them all at that time? I mean, unless you have to, I understand that. Okay, great. Yeah. But like, if you can't hold a couple back, right, to put out during the week of Celebration as like a, get it, this is exciting that this is coming out kind of a thing. Like, I don't know. I just think it's kind of a miss. It's the same way I think about Hot Toys when Hot Toys comes out with shit and it's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out and they put out freaking like Scarlet Witch or some bullshit, like it's stupid.
Wasn't it the 40th anniversary of ESB that they put out Iron Man or like Golden Armor?
Something some
shit like that.
It's just dumb.
I mean, I could just look really stupid when tomorrow they announce
a bunch of possible
shit Thursday morning.
It's possible. You're right.
The first day of the con. So that's
they still have time. They still have time.
Yeah. So these were by Mark. I always forget how to pronounce his name.
Chilcott?
This one's Nightlife. So it's a Spider-Man print, 16 by 20. And a small edition size. I think his edition sizes tend to be bigger than this, but 50. I will say I'm not a huge fan of this. I think I have at least one art print by him that's Batman. It's a Batman Beyond print from a few years ago. I will say if you do like his work, you're spoiled for choice. I think I consider him a very prolific artist where it feels like a few times a year he ends up putting out stuff that's either
Yeah.
Batman, Spider-Man, Marvel. Um,
I don't like it. I don't like the background.
yeah, he's done a few Star Wars, but I don't know him, off the top of my head as kind of a main Star Wars person. I think it's mostly Marvel and DC. But I mean, decent size,
Mm-hmm.
displayable. But I think the very like animated style of Spider-Man doesn't work with the kind of gritty, almost semi-realistic background. But he's kind of known for that, so there's that. And then into
How about
action,
you be known for something else that people want?
yeah.
How about that?
I think this one works a little bit better
It's better.
because there's not so much contrast between Spidey and the background.
Better.
But I also felt the same way about he did some Daredevil prints that were very similar, where Daredevil was like on a water tower and he was really into focus, and the background was like this. And yeah, Hugh, I'm pretty sure these sold out today or yesterday. I think it was today.
Crazy.
They don't like tend to stick around, and they typically release 10 o'clock East, no, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I think for me is, or noon.
This is better. I do like the background better on this one.
Yeah.
It's it's at least got a little bit more to.
But if you are interested in bottleneck stuff and either I drop the ball or if I don't say anything about it, you could always sign up for their emails. Also follow them on social media. I've said this before, I feel like a broken record, but you could follow them. They kind of have a methodology when it comes to when they announce things. So on Facebook, they'll change their cover photo to whatever art they're going to announce is coming out. So then if you get the notification that they changed their cover photo on their Facebook and you see it, then I furiously refresh either the
Something's
blog
coming
on their website or the email, because sometimes they send the email the day of as opposed to the day before. But on their blog section of the website, they'll put a little blurb in on what the edition sizes is, what the prices are, and what variants will be available. So yeah, and their Twitter and their Instagram's pretty good about. There's one employee, I think his handle's bottleneck_Josh, and he will post when things are shipping. So I do know a few prints that I bought are shipping, at least 2 of them. I should be getting shortly. So these ones are releasing online, and they'll be available in person at Celebration on Thursday. I keep forgetting it's Tuesday. So yeah, these are going to be available on the website Thursday, which is nice for those people who are not going to the actual convention, and you also don't need someone to like pick it up for you.
Yeah.
That I'm aware of anyway. They didn't say that these were exclusive, just that they're being released in conjunction with Celebration.
We're talking now about the whole like Acme drop, right?
Yep, this was I mentioned, like, thanks Acme for coming through. They announced these
So disappointing though. There's so many disappointments in this one.
There's more. Don't like, judge.
I think I've seen them all, and it's just so disappointing. These ones are always great. He's actually really good. Yeah, because he did this one in the Boba one, right?
I didn't recognize any of the ones that Acme announced yesterday. Okay. If it makes you feel better, and I'm pretty obsessive with prints. So, but yeah, Christian Wagner. I have 2 of his pieces. I don't love all of his work, but the concept's really cool. The reflection concept.
It looks like an Ahsoka figure in a Black Series helmet.
Sometimes he doesn't nail I feel like the reflection aspect of it gets lost, and it feels like you said, like a mini figure that's in the visor.
It's not the best.
A Mando helmet.
You guys have to have seen the AT-AT, right? Didn't he do that? The
listen,
driver, AT-AT driver.
He's done AT-AT driver. He's done a scare short trooper. He's done a TIE fighter. I think he's done 2 TIE fighters.
Some of them are really good.
Greedo. I like the C-3PO and I like the Greedo. He's done R2. He's done several Vaders. So he's done like a New Hope Vader. He's done an Empire Strikes Back Vader and a Rogue One Vader. I have the Rogue One Vader. He's done an Imperial Guard. It's Scout Trooper.
Take a break,
Not a Scout
Wagner.
Trooper. I'm sorry.
I say he needs to take a break. He needs to stop.
Should I?
That's way too many.
Well, he's also done like kind of like not concept stuff, but he's done things that have not been released, or I don't want to say cartoons, but like drafts basically that haven't been released that are pretty cool looking. But yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan and you like the concept of what he's doing with the reflections, do look into his stuff because, like I said, he's done a
He's got a
shit
lot.
ton of stuff over the years.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
So this one is going to be available in two formats and also therefore two different sizes. So the Giclée on canvas is 21 by 26 inches, an edition size of 125. The Giclée on paper is going to be 17 by 22, and its edition size of 195.
Cool.
They're also not cheap. The shoe I have, I got on sale for that reason. So this one, I Thought You Were Dead. That picture is incredibly blurry. I'm so sorry. I had to crop it out of something to grab a shot of it, but basically it's like season 2 Mando Boba Fett with like Bib Fortuna in the reflection of his
Sitting in the throne.
visor. I think this is a little more successful than the Mando one, probably because you see more of Boba Fett, so you get more of the concept that it's a reflection, as opposed to the Black Series figure in the helmet kind of look of the other one.
You know what I don't like about this, CC? I don't like that his head is flat.
Oh, like the top of it?
Yeah, but maybe it's actually like that. I don't know. I don't think so. And like that bothers me. Like just round his head out.
Yeah.
Like you're an artist. Don't flatten his head out. Like it's not that hard.
And there's not much texture on his tunic stuff, which I just realized. But also, I think I remember that being very textured from season 2 when we saw him like destroying all those stormtroopers in the Robert Rodriguez directed episode, and from Book of Boba Fett. But perhaps in that last after credit scene, it was smooth and not like a basket weave kind of texture. I'd have to revisit that, but I love the colors in this. I do
like it better.
More
I just can't. I just can't unsee the flat head.
Yeah, we're getting more better. It's progressing. And the only frame of reference I have is a Black Series helmet in front of me, so that's not going to help because we know that's not going to be terribly accurate either. But similar dimensions. I don't think they're the same. So Glichy on canvas is Glichy. Giclée on canvas. 21 by 28. See, we just fucked with the word so much. I can't say it right. Edition size of 125. Giclée on paper, 17 by 22, edition of 195. Available Thursday. This is blurry as fuck too. I can only apologize.
It's good. Good. It's good that it's blurry, guys. Let's be honest.
This was a little too like Jesus-y, where I could see it on like a grandmom's wall, and no one has to tell her it's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It's horrible.
I almost sent this to Steve. Now I'm glad I didn't, in case he felt the same way. It's too like Hallmarky to me. It looks like religious art, but not good religious art. Like my family's Catholic. Like I'm used to seeing religious art. This is not good religious art.
Even Cece's family wouldn't put this in their house.
This is like tells you a lot. Youth group at some like
Methodist church
with green carpet. Like it's just not.
Yeah, it's bad. Not
the kind of like stained glass shit I'm used to. It's called I Will Watch Over Him by Kayla Woodside. 18 by 24.
I'll watch over him while I'm sitting in my couch eating Oreos because it looks like he's just getting fatter and fatter in front of my eyes. Like it looks nothing like him to me. It's crazy. This is just horrible.
I think it looks like him, but just between the border and like half of his body is gone. Like I just don't think it works.
Looks like James Corden holding.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong.
Holding a freaking random baby. No, it just doesn't work for me. I don't like it.
again, it just looks like someone would accidentally buy this at Goodwill thinking it's Jesus and then put it on their wall, and then someone's like,
Yeah, it's
"You
only
gonna
one.
tell her?" No, I'm not gonna tell her. So yeah, this isn't a hit with us. It sounds like, but
No.
someone's bound to like it somewhere. This one's blurry as shit again, but this one's more graphic, so I guess it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Joe Hogan, Gathering Forces. This is a lithograph, 18 by 24, edition size of 295. So
Cool colors. Cool colors.
yeah, I kind of like
Not,
this style
not my
of it.
not my style, but I like
Yeah.
the colors. It's cool.
I think there's a market for this. It's just not me.
Sure.
But I do like the simplicity of it, kind of like pop art kind of style to it.
Mm-hmm.
The colors are cool. I just think it's not what I typically go for. But that doesn't mean it's not for someone else. It's just not for me. And I mean, it's kind of cool that they incorporated the Dark Trooper because I almost forgot Dark Troopers were a thing.
Yeah, they're a thing.
And Bo-Katan. It's not getting better. Candace Daly, Rescue on Geonosis. This is really blurry too, but I'm going to consider that a public service announcement. I don't mean to be that harsh. This was just...
It's not good.
I think it had potential, but it's almost like when we look at statues where you're like, damn, the concept's really good. They didn't nail any of the face sculpts. And I feel like that's what this is. Even with my crappy cropping skills. But it's 18 by 24, edition size, 250. And hey, at least it was on brand with the fact that this year's the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. So there's that.
At least there's that. Because
there's
everything else they missed on because it's just not good.
I think, strangely enough, Natalie Portman might be the only one who looks vaguely like Natalie Portman.
Do better. Just do better. Huh? How about that? Just do better.
Funny enough, I think it was the only art print that made me do a double take where I'm like, oh, you know what? I kind of like this. Is also by this artist. So I think it does get better. This one's blurry as fuck too. Sorry. Zoltan Simon, Awakening.
Oh, what a weird name.
I know. I have I think it's the original trilogy set by him. It's not framed or anything, and I have no idea where they're going. But this one's 16 by 24, an edition size of 250. What's interesting is I might have spoiled things for you by saying that I have the original trilogy. He did one for each of the sequel trilogy. So this is the Force Awakens one. So you have something to look forward to because this is the Last Jedi one.
Damn.
Seems a little Photoshoppy for me, but this one's called Beacon of Hope. Same dimension, same edition size. Took me a second to realize that on the bottom that's Luke in like his final moments.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the Rise of Skywalker. Play on words. It's called Ray of Light.
Are they reaching out to touch his dick? What are they trying to do here?
Why is it glow? Oh, that's a little low for his dick. I don't want to make assumptions that he's...
Listen, Palpatine is
something.
doing just fine. He's old. It's all just hanging down there.
Is this like... Oh, I don't know if we had this conversation. There's a comic book cover that I liked that I sent to... I think it was the Collecting Weekly guys, and they were like, why is his dick glowing? And it was almost like a lens flare, like right on his crotch, and this is exactly what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't unsee it.
It's just not like, why? Like, why do this to yourself? Like, I like, come on, man.
I like what's going on behind him with the...
Yeah, with the throne and stuff.
Because
I mean,
I think that was one of the cooler parts of the movie. But to be fair, I've only seen it the once. For some reason, I haven't felt compelled to look at it again. And then I'm also looking at David's question. The Luke on Hoth McQuarrie canvas. Any speculation that may announce? I don't think so. Because it's McQuarrie. And I don't... If they were releasing like new McQuarrie prints, I imagine they would have said something by now. Like even on group therapy, we went over the list of exclusives, and it included the Thomas Kincaid Studios Book of Boba Fett print. I feel like that's something that they would have included.
The Acme ones were numbered, weren't they?
Which one's the
The
McQuarrie prints in
McQuarrie
general?
ones, yeah, weren't they? Weren't
Oh
they
yes,
numbered?
yes.
So that, I mean, that tells you. I can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine they just like come out with more. I mean, maybe they'll come out with other ones at some point. That wouldn't completely surprise me. But yeah, the ones that they had are gonzo. You know.
Yeah, I think so. I see McQuarrie art prints as like a it's not an infinite resource, obviously, because of the nature of them. It's not like we can continue to make new concept prints unless they're like the sequel trilogy, right? So if they were going to take, say, more of McQuarrie's artwork and turn them into art prints, I feel like they would have said something by now.
Yeah, but it's also, don't you think, CC? It's also like a foundation type of thing, like, or like the McQuarrie, like, whatever family, whatever it is, right? That
There's a lot of
controls
factors.
his
Yeah,
estate. Like
yeah.
they could definitely at some point be like, hey, let's make more money, and then release
But
more.
I don't know if they would re-release the ones that they've already done unless it was like a
Right.
drastically different format. And I
Right.
know that
I agree.
like that super shit, what is it? The Super Trooper one, the concept Boba Fett one. I think that was limited to 200, and I've yet to see someone sell it.
Yeah.
So
Well, and David, you got a really good one. I have that same Luke on Hoth
yeah.
McQuarrie canvas print. It's so good. It's such a nice size to fit in a collection. It's so good. It's expensive. It's not cheap, and so it's kind of ridiculous how expensive it is. But man, I love it. It's one of my favorites.
So this one again, kind of more graphic design. Imperial Battle of Yavin. It's a lithograph,
It's
18 by 24.
absolutely horrible.
I think it's so.
It's bad.
What bothers me about this one is, and I think even that other, which one was it? The Mandalorian one, that was the kind of teal looking one. Is that I just get vibes of like this is something that you'd find at the poster section of a big box store like Walmart or Target.
It's so bad.
And I think that's probably a hang up I have with it. I mean,
see, I don't like that they even offer these. Like, to me, this is like there should be a bar. It should be a bar that you set that you don't go below. And some of these are just well below that. Like, it's just embarrassing. Like, you don't offer these.
To me, fan art than anything else.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, and I guess this would be a good segue for something I have later. When you know that there's other things that artists have come out with that either have not been licensed or have been straight up rejected by studios.
Right.
So I'll delve into that a little bit later, which will be a decent segue into that. But yeah, I do question why things like this get approved and get made, and then other things that are incredible don't get approved or also don't get made, despite how many people want it or ask for it. But yeah, edition size of 250. I think most of these are 250. This one I thought was kind of cool. Vaz Marquez, the Dark Duel lithograph 18 by 24, edition size of 350. So it's higher. So I'm assuming they think that more people are gonna want to go for this.
I like the colors. I like the concept. It's cool.
That kind of Art Deco geometric background kind of reminds me of a Burgos portrait. But it's funny. My sister is currently rewatching the Clone Wars, and I don't mind roasting her because she knows I talk about her on the show because she doesn't watch the show. So there's that.
She doesn't watch this, right?
No, unless I like force her to.
No.
But she was like, "Oh, I didn't know Hondo from Smuggler's Run is in Clone Wars," and I was just like, "Shame on you! Shame on your cow! Shame on your family!
Right. Yeah.
Dishonor on your cow!" yeah. So, but I think that we need more Rebels and Clone Wars art, even though they're not my two favorite um,
Yeah, it's cool.
storylines. I just think we don't have a lot of it compared to, say, the original trilogy or even the sequel trilogy. Um,
Gosh,
Matt, I just don't.
I just they just can't help themselves.
What's funny is this is the same artist that I said did that print that I could foresee being in like a girl's room. It was the one of
Right.
the little girl looking in the mirror and
Yeah.
Ahsoka looking back at her. Um,
Gosh,
I stand by that statement.
they just cannot stop with this like Mando lovingly looking into Grogu's eyes, like stop, just stop it.
Well, I think especially now with it coming out so late, we already know it's goodbye for now. Like we already know they've been reunited. So I think that this doesn't pack like any kind of emotional punch because we know Grogu decided to stick it with Mando and not stay with Luke. Um,
Which is a huge mistake, huge decision, like bad decision for him to
yeah,
make. But whatever.
but I think the style of this I'm not a huge fan of.
No, I'm not either.
It's not something I would go for. But 12 by 24 edition size of 250.
Cool.
Yeah, cool for clone stuff.
Sure.
Uh, Brett Woodside, just like Kayla Woodside, I think there's a relation there. I just cannot remember if it's like husband and wife, sister, brother, but I think there's a relation there. Has a particular style. I'm not too much of a fan of it, but it works for like animated stuff. This one
Cool.
is 16 by 24 and a big edition size of 395. But
Okay.
I think that Clone Wars, like I said, is a untapped market. But I think they are kind of hitting us over the head now with it being the anniversary with some of these releases.
Yeah.
Uh,
Cool.
Too much more time on that one. This is the one that I was like, you know what, this isn't bad.
A lot of reflections going on.
Yeah, with Mustafar and his helmet, Dark Aspirations, Candace Daly, I want to say is how you say it, 12 by 16, edition size of 50. That kind of surprises me that this one I thought was kind of one of the more maybe ones that would be more popular, and they're limiting it to 50.
You know what? They probably saw this and they were like, "Oh, I've seen a street artist on the corner of New York City do this in chalk for like,
Yeah.
$10. Like we don't this isn't what it's just it doesn't it looks like it looks like a guy that does his chalk thing with the neon colors and stuff, and then next to him is a guy like beatboxing, and another guy next to him is like playing on the freaking drums on the freaking cans and shit, and you're just like, wow, this is a cool place. Like, I'm gonna grab this random Darth Vader print for
Yeah.
$10. Like, that's what it looks like to me. It's just not. It's
And
not.
OG fan is not wrong. It does have like a painterly style to it without it being like, I think that works if you have other details that are like kind of fine to like pull it out so it doesn't look like just a bunch of blurry brushstrokes. But this one, yeah. I mean, I don't think it sets the bar too high with everything else we had going on. That this one was one of the ones I kind of preferred of the bunch. Doesn't mean I'm getting it though.
No, yeah, sure.
But yeah, looks like the side of a 79 Dodge van.
Yeah, it's bad.
So, this is new because honestly, we're kind of light on news.
Is this just the
for this,
print?
this is just the promotional poster, and
Okay,
it's relatively new. I think within the last 2 weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it'd be kind of cool because I haven't seen any official, obviously, art prints related to the Kenobi series. I do know because I've shown it on the show before. God, that was quite a while ago, though. That why am I blanking on this all of a sudden? Uh, is it Dolly? I think Dolly is working on or had a concept for a Kenobi art print that was kind of inspired by the first promotional poster, which I didn't include here, but I think we've all seen it with like the sand and
Yeah.
Kenobi, not this one. So it'll be interesting if something like that gets approved and they
I
start
just
pushing stuff like that out soon.
I wouldn't worry about it. Matt Ferguson or somebody's gonna come out with some badass Kenobi print, and like we're gonna have it's gonna be fine. Like
Hmm.
you know, I'm not a big fan of collect. I wouldn't collect like actual movie posters, but I get why people do it. It's
Yeah,
this is a cool looking one. I do like it.
yeah.
Um,
But I guess because it's a light, I think that was, I was trying to segue into that and I failed at it. Because it was a light news day, I decided it might be cool because I have had people ask, not necessarily about Kenobi, but I have had people ask, like, gee, this is coming up soon. What's your favorite? Like, I thought it was cool that right after Moon Knight started showing, I did like that one Moon Knight print that came out, and then we had some other ones come out that weren't as stellar, so I didn't feature those on the show. But I thought it'd be cool to kind of look at what prints have featured Kenobi previously, even if they're not based on the TV series. So if they're
yeah.
based on either like a mythos concept or something we haven't seen before, or the or even New Hope. So first up, so I feature a
Mhm.
few of them by this artist Phase Runner. That being said, there's one of these that I feature. I think it's the next one that looks very similar to this one that I know was produced and it was available on Acme as a canvas, so not like a paper print, but as a canvas print. It's been long sold out. I think it was done 2 years ago, but this and a few others, I haven't seen any evidence that they are actually produced.
Mhm.
I could be wrong with that because I didn't do a lot of research on it today, but I thought it would be cool at least to see what art is out there. So this concept is very similar to the next one I'm going to show you that was actually made available and is quite popular, and people have been trying to find it. But this one's called Obi-Wan versus Anakin, again by the artist Phase Runner.
Cool.
Um, so I thought it would be nice to look at these kind of things and kind of get excited for the Kenobi series. Um, yep, Conja Club. This one should be called High Ground. So this one is called High Ground. So this is the one that was available on Acme and has been long sold out. And I know a few people in some groups have been looking for it. Um, Now, whether why say this was produced but not this one, because they're very similar concepts, I have no idea.
Mhm.
But to me, this kind of feels like a rough draft, and then this was like the final version, this High Ground. Um, but yeah, I think this would be cool to have in a collection, especially with um, the High Ground Kenobi statue by. Don't let me fuck this up. DMD.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Yep.
I always I always confuse it with another custom maker. So if I got that wrong, I apologize. But I think everyone knows which statue I'm talking about. And then the other one. So I had
Jeez, that's like that's crazy.
yeah, I had conflicting info on this as to when it was done. Because I think I saw an entry that said that he did this in 2020, but it has the new Kenobi logo. So I think it's more recent than that, and someone just fucked it up.
Mm.
They put it in. Um, but this one was called You Were My Brother. So this is the kind of stuff that I like it. I wish they would produce it. I don't know if they have produced it. I don't know if there's any plans to produce it. So kind of like I think it was the last print show I showed a Greedo and a Bossk print or work by Pablo Oliveira, which he had done years prior, and it looked like they hadn't been produced. So sometimes you never know what studios you're going to pick or if artists are doing stuff for like shits and giggles versus they're actually commissioned to do stuff. So this I
Right.
think, was another one of those kind of like the first one, the Obi-Wan versus Anakin, I think was just shits and giggles versus the High Ground, which actually ended up getting made. Um, this was another one I thought Steve would like
Which, by the
because
way,
it kind of
by the
gives
way,
mythos.
CC, I feel like that one with the fire, that's definitely something we could be seeing in the Kenobi series, where it's like, how do you think we'll see Kenobi? Well, he looks in, he's looking at a fire, and all of a sudden he remembers fighting Darth Vader, right? And that's when you cut back to whatever. Like, it's very possible that that's kind of how a lot of the ways we see Vader.
I certainly hope so, and I think that's
Be
why I
interesting.
wanted to like look up stuff like this.
Yeah.
The other ones aren't as like on the nose with the Kenobi series coming out, but I thought it'd just be cool to feature them anyway. But this one I liked. Oh, this one I liked for its kind of mythos vibes.
It's cool.
It does feel more like a movie poster to me. Like this, I could totally see being like a teaser poster. Um, but I thought it was cool. So this makes a lot more sense to me than the baby Jesus print that we just saw.
Yep.
That looked like something out of a Methodist church. But yeah, same artist, Phase Runner. Different artist this time. I know this is very simple, but I do have a few Marco Menevs, and there's just something about the simplicity of his work that I like. Also, this is a concept I've seen before. Phase Runner, that artist I just showed, he's also done his own version of a Maul versus Obi-Wan. But I think this one I kind of liked better in that it wasn't as detailed as the Phase Runner one that he did. The one Phase Runner did to me felt a little more like Photoshoppy, but I thought this was cool. And I think this one was released a few years ago as well. I didn't include a lot of stats on these ones, but if there's anything that you see that's interesting, obviously they're going to be long sold out. So if you do want them, just you're going to have to do a little bit of research on it as far as the dimensions,
Yeah.
the edition sizes, and stuff like that. Besides, obviously, the ones I already warned you about with Phase Runner, where I don't think most of those were produced at all. So this one, I know
is cool.
Steve has.
Yeah, this is
I
cool.
think
I
it's
like
cool.
this one.
No Country for Old Men
This is
by
Dorman.
Carrere, I want to say.
Oh, it's not Dorman. What's his name?
Nope. And I think the
It's
name's
nice.
right on there. Yep.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And I think this was a Rancho Obi-Wan exclusive.
Oh, that's right.
Honestly, I don't know how that works. I don't know if it meant that they sold it only at Rancho Obi-Wan or if they did like
Probably.
their own website.
Probably sold it there, I would imagine. But
Right.
I don't think Steve didn't buy his. Steve bought his on like eBay or something.
Yeah.
He found it somewhere else.
As most of us do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was cool. And for an I feel like we haven't had some excellent Celebration exclusives recently, so it's cool to see that this one's probably a few years old. I can't remember what year it came out. It might have been 2017, but it's a damn good exclusive because sometimes they miss the mark, and you're like, oh, it's an exclusive because it's not something that I think the wide public would want. But this is one I think would be worth the trek to try to find. This one I actually saw on accident a few weeks ago, and I really do like it. I just don't know A, where I'd put it, B, how it would fit in with the rest of my collection, but there's something about the light of it I think is really nice. It's obviously not terribly exciting, but I don't know. There's just something about it I liked. I think that the light, like coming through presumably a window, it's almost like you can feel the warmth of it. It's kind of stoic, something we don't see very often in Star Wars art. Hey Eddie, thanks for jumping in. But yeah, this one is Obi-Wan Kenobi by Donato Giancola.
Sure.
I shouldn't say Italian last names.
Giancola.
Yeah. This one's a little busy, but I thought I'd show it anyway. Master and Apprentice by Tommy Lee Edwards.
A little busy.
It's a little busy.
It's slightly busy.
There's something about it. I think it's Vader that reminds me of Alex Ross. Because if I looked at nothing else,
yeah. If you look past,
it looks like an Alex Ross.
If you look past all the other shit that's in front of him going on, then yeah, okay, sure. You got to look past a lot of shit, though. I mean, that's just there's a lot going on there.
You could tell by here I was scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as prints that featured mainly Obi-Wan.
We're gonna get more. I know we're gonna get a whole lot more. So
yeah. And this one was a Celebration Europe.
Eddie sees me slumping in my chair.
Yeah.
No,
I'm leaning back too. We're just kind of like chilling like villains.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, did this just come out?
So, no. So the other thing I wanted, because again, slow news week.
Yeah, sure.
I saw Doctor Strange. I think it was the second day it came out, so it's been a few weeks, unfortunately. But
Mhm.
um, I've bitched enough that they don't have enough Doctor Strange prints out there that I like. Even ones that are, me, I don't mind getting something that's been long sold out. I fucking hate when people put that shit in like
Yeah.
eBay listings. Because anyone who knows anything about art prints, they never hang around long, so they're all going to be long sold out by the time you get them on eBay. Um, but this one's by Raid 71 or Chris Thornley, I want to say is his actual name.
Yeah.
But this one was big. It was 24 by 36, an edition size
Yeah,
of
that's big.
125. I think this one was the one with the glow in the dark layer, and then they had a version that was on foil paper instead.
I hate the glow in the dark shit. You know, what's interesting with the Doctor Strange stuff, especially the Multiverse of Madness stuff, I expect to see a shit ton of stuff, right? Like I expect to see like an orgy of things to look at. That's
Yeah.
why it doesn't bother me there. When I see it other places, I'm like, what are you doing? But here it's like, it kind of makes sense. That's kind of their marketing with the
hmm
thing. That's kind of what happened. So
Well, it'll be so. I didn't feature Matt Ferguson's
yeah,
Multiverse of Madness print because I'd already shown it twice, I want to say.
right.
But I think I'm not holding my breath that there's going to be a lot of them coming out because it bothers me that we still have not seen, but it could be a Sony thing. We still have not seen a licensed um, No Way Home art print, and the movie's
Yeah,
been out for a very long time. So I
right.
think that's why I'm not holding my breath for a lot of like Doctor Strange art. But I don't know what it is. It's just I think it's a combination of a more niche character when it comes to Marvel. Um, and like maybe they don't think that there's a market for a lot of Doctor Strange art, but you really
Mm.
are. Like if you're a Doctor Strange art, fan like I am, and you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to art prints.
Yeah.
But this one, and I think I have another one that's kind of like if you're gonna get one, these would be the two I'd recommend. And also, they don't look terribly different from one another, which is also interesting.
Hmm.
So this is the one. Oh, I didn't crop this photo very well, but this is the one by Flory, and I think he also had a variant that was on foil paper.
I
But
like those colors though. The colors are really cool
well,
though.
especially so these ones, and I don't mean to confuse people with the title of this being Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And these are all Doctor Strange, like the first movie prints. But I think these work really well with that movie,
Sure.
uh, where it was kind of more psychedelic in their color
Yep.
schemes and their concepts. And we saw,
Mhm.
not to spoil things, but we saw a little bit of it in the new movie.
Yeah,
But I
sure.
do think even in the promotional art that you've seen, and even in Matt Ferguson's, it looks a little kind of disjointed, which we would
Yeah.
expect with something like a multiverse being a part of the theme. But it
Well,
also looks much darker.
think about the like 80s stuff we're gonna get for Thor Love and Thunder. Like they're gonna go nuts with that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, right? So yeah, I love it. I'm I'm a big fan of all the colors and the just the psychedelic and the 80s stuff. Like it's just it's awesome. I'm not gonna get it, but I think it looks great. It's
yeah,
cool.
it'll be cool to see what they come out with. But yeah, with Marvel, I have to be a lot more selective just because that's
Hmm.
taking up Star Wars and Batman real estate when it comes to art prints. If I'm quite honest. So this one I thought was interesting. So I called it "What Could Have Been." So this is illustrator Tomer Hanuka. I'm
Okay.
gonna butcher that like to hell. But this was a rejected concept.
Hmm.
So he did this for the studio, and they decided not to go with it, um, which I think is a damn shame because it is totally different. And I think
Cool.
it would even work for the Multiverse of Madness, not necessarily the first movie,
Yeah,
because
it's cool.
the kind of fractured nature of Doctor Strange reminds me of what Matt Ferguson did in his.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is really cool, and it kind of sucks because you're just like, damn, I wish they
Yeah.
would have made it. Maybe they will one day get wise and go for something that's a little different and not something that's like so safe. Um, but I do appreciate when the artists are a little transparent with showing stuff like this,
Yeah.
and also talking about sharing concepts or drafts and going through the nuances of, well, this is what I submitted, but it was rejected because of this, or they changed up some logos, or they didn't like this.
Right.
The criticisms they had for this one were kind of severe, and I think I saw them on a private group, so I'm not going to share them. But um, I always think that that's kind of fascinating because I want to learn more about what artists come up with under the parameters that they're given.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think it's kind of easy to play armchair quarterback and be like, well, this isn't great, but without understanding what kind of restrictions the artists were under or what deadlines the artists were under, I think that kind of stuff brings a lot of context to the art, or makes it even more impressive. If, say, they were told, given very limited information as inspiration for, like, say, a movie poster that hasn't, and the movie hasn't even come out yet, and they're not even
Sure.
getting to it to see like what they managed to pull off. But I think that's all I had. But let me see. Yep. So, like I said, a short one. I
Yeah.
was kind of scraping the barrel when it came to,
Well, not that short. It's an hour. Fine.
yeah. I mean, I still am not convinced that this is the calm before the storm, that we're going to see more print news between now and when the actual convention starts. But
Probably, maybe not, but it's a kind of a shame if that's the case. I mean, look, it's fine. I don't want to spend a bunch more money anyway, so it'd be helpful if that wasn't the case. We all need to save money for the actual convention and just everything else that comes around with it, along with that. So yeah.
So I think the next time you see us, if you decide to get up early enough for that, it's going to be, it's 1 o'clock
Thursday
my time on Thursday.
night.
Well, it'll
Well,
be 1 in the morning on Friday for me.
Friday morning. Yeah, it'll be 12 in the morning Friday morning. So for me, and it's gonna be a bitch because yeah, there's 2 episodes. We kind of want to talk about it. It's gonna be a son of a bitch. But and then I gotta
gonna make it. Poor guy.
No, Steve's not gonna make it. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's gonna be. I think Jason will try to make it. Hopefully, he's feeling okay. And then, obviously, we'll make it there, and then you fly out the next day for celebration.
I fly out Friday morning, but it's
Right,
like
so
10
you
it's
sleep
not-
on the plane. Sleep on the plane.
Yeah.
And then I will just figure out when I'll just go at some point, and then and then celebration happens. So but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So we'll do Shelter in Space, early Friday morning. So everyone,
and
if you can, join us.
Yeah, every week, but also I can't remember, are they sticking with Friday, or do you think they're going to go back to Wednesdays?
I think I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. It seems like they might stick with Fridays. I don't know. There's also, I mean, it's crazy. There's Stranger Things that's coming out. The whole season of that's coming out. There's a lot of cool stuff.
I'm excited for that, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm obviously more excited about Kenobi.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So,
but yeah, I think busy weekend too with that going on, but it'll be nice to watch that and have something to kind of bullshit about while we're waiting in line for stuff at Anaheim. So that'll be good.
Absolutely.
But,
absolutely.
Thanks for joining, guys. I know like Tuesday nights aren't the easiest for everyone because there's a lot of people streaming. I know I'm gonna be catching up on a few of them afterwards, but we will see you guys or talk to you guys maybe on it'll be fun. I'm still, for those of you who are not in our group, which also, what the fuck, why aren't you in the Facebook group? Jason's gonna be unable to make it, so it sounds like it's gonna be me, Matt, Steve, and Chris who are going, but to no fault of anyone. Health takes precedence over even Star Wars as obsessive as we are. So I hope Jason feels better soon, obviously. And also, I will hold him accountable to another opportunity for us to hang out all in one space, even if it's not Celebration.
Yeah. Well, and just I mean, just so people know a little bit, like it's not like Jason has a cold and he's just not willing to like show up. It's a lot more than that. So it's a thing, and you know we're hoping he's feeling better. But yeah, so he's just not gonna be able to make it out, which is such a bummer. But you know we're all looking forward to seeing each other and seeing some cool stuff. Maybe other people at Celebration. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun weekend. So.
Yep. Well, I'll leave it at that. Everyone else, have a great rest of your night, and we will hopefully chat with you guys early Friday morning regarding Kenobi.
Thanks, guys.